like we used to have back in the day.
Because the last thing I told my daughter, she just came back from Florida. I said, welcome home. Clean the kitchen, clean your bedroom. The same thing I tell my 17-year-old to do all the time. And I love you.
Serves.
My daughter counts. My daughter matters. You don't just get to go around killing people because you feel like it on any given Thursday. That's not how life works.
Mackenzie Ridley was just 17 years old, a bright, ambitious young woman with her whole life ahead of her. A recent graduate of Northland High School, she was already preparing for her next chapter, driven by dreams and a determination that set her apart. She received offers from 4 different colleges, a testament to her academic dedication and drive. Ultimately, she made the proud decision to attend Wilberforce University, where she planned to continue her education and further her entrepreneurial dreams. From an early age, Mackenzie was known for her energy and versatility. She was a natural athlete, playing both softball and basketball in her early teen years. She also began cheerleading at a young age and proudly continued the sport into high school. But beyond sports, Mackenzie had an entrepreneurial spirit that made her truly unique. Family and friends describe her as a young businesswoman at heart. She didn't just talk about her dreams, she made them happen. Mackenzie created her own clothing and beauty line and even hosted a community pop-up shop featuring more than 25 teen entrepreneurs. Hundreds of people from the neighborhood came out to support the event, a powerful testament to her ability to connect, inspire, and mobilize her peers. She wasn't just building a business, she was building a movement. Mackenzie was a connector, an influencer, a motivator. She had a magnetic personality and never met a stranger. Her warmth, charm, and genuine care for others left an impression on everyone she encountered. She was bubbly, intelligent, deeply creative, and full of promise. Those who knew her believed that had she been given the chance, she could have grown into a business leader who not only succeeded for herself, but uplifted others, potentially employing and inspiring countless people in her community. In May 2021, Mackenzie was seen doing what she loved, surrounded by friends, enjoying life in the sunshine. The teens in her neighborhood often came together to celebrate life, laugh, and simply be young. On this occasion, even chaperones were there, capturing joyful moments on video. It was a carefree day, filled with energy and promise.
My daughter and all of her cousins and friends are having a real live party like we used to have back in the day. They got food over there. They asked me to make a plate of mac and cheese, and I did. Honey, they having a real live one. That right there is where they was playing slip and slide kickball. That game is over. But now, look. That's why I said move away from the cars. Now all these kids is shooting water guns at each other, having a backyard boogie. Oh my God, y'all.
But less than a month later, that joyful spirit would be shattered. The next time those same teens gathered, it wasn't for celebration. It was in the aftermath of tragedy. What began as another moment of youthful fun was suddenly interrupted by the sound of gunfire. Just before 9 p.m. on June 24th, 2021, Columbus police responded to the Far East Community Center for reports of a shooting. Upon arrival, they would find a chaotic and heartbreaking scene. Amidst the crowd, officers would locate 17-year-old Mackenzie Ridley lying on the ground critically injured after being shot in the neck. She was rushed to a local hospital where she was sadly pronounced dead just a short time later. A rising star with so much to offer the world was taken from her loved ones far too soon, just weeks after graduation. What began as an evening of innocent fun quickly turned into a nightmare. A group of teenagers had gathered at a local recreation center in Columbus for what was supposed to be a carefree, joy-filled water gun fight. Just kids enjoying each other's company under the early summer sky. But the laughter and playful splashes were abruptly silenced when someone introduced real violence into what had been a harmless game. According to multiple reports, During the gathering, an individual suddenly pulled out a firearm and began shooting. Chaos erupted. In the panic and confusion, 17-year-old Mackenzie Ridley was struck in the crossfire. At the time of the shooting, police had no suspects. Witnesses, many of whom were also young teens, fled the scene in fear and confusion. In the days that followed, Mackenzie's family and friends pleaded to the public, urging anyone with information to come forward and help bring justice to her memory. Mackenzie's loss left an irreplaceable void in the lives of those who knew her. A life full of promise, purpose, and potential, taken far too soon by an act of cowardice and violence. She was not involved in the conflict. She was simply there, living, laughing, being a kid. Now her family fights every day to ensure that her name is not forgotten and that justice will be served. Alongside the footage, police also released still images of two individuals believed to be connected to the incident. Despite these efforts and the hope that someone might come forward to identify those involved, investigators announced they were unable to file charges. The lack of cooperation from witnesses and the difficulty in gathering concrete evidence meant Mackenzie's case remained open, without accountability. Alongside the footage, police also released still images of two individuals believed to be connected to the incident. Despite these efforts and the hope that someone might come forward to identify those involved, investigators announced they were unable to file charges. The lack of cooperation from witnesses and the difficulty in gathering concrete evidence meant Mackenzie's case remained open, without accountability.
I don't want the message to be that it's okay to kill our young girls and that you can get away with it.
That's how Seneca Ridley Turner feels after nearly 10 months of waiting on an answer over who shot and killed her daughter, Mackenzie Ridley.
My daughter's murder not going away. There are people who need to answer to that.
The shooting occurred here outside of the Far East Recreation Center in June of 2021. Since that day, Seneca says multiple people have come forward, offering tips and information to Columbus police. But she has yet to see any results. And it's why a petition has been made online with over 1,200 signatures, calling for justice and accountability over Mackenzie's death.
There's no closure yet. She can't even properly grieve her daughter until we settle this.
Lanita Tuff is Mackenzie's aunt and has been working to not only support her family, but also the community in bringing attention toward this case.
Mackenzie's life mattered. She was going places, and she wasn't done.
And throughout all this, Seneca says the support she's received from the community has been invaluable.
It doesn't surprise me that people are still wanting to see justice for Mackenzie and that fire has not died down, because her fire was just that bright.
More than 4 years after the tragic and senseless shooting that took the life of 17-year-old Mackenzie Ridley, her family remains unwavering in their commitment to honoring her legacy and seeking the justice she deserves. In the aftermath of her death, Mackenzie's loved ones transformed their grief into action by founding Orange Hearts for Mackenzie, a community-based organization dedicated to empowering young people of color, particularly those with entrepreneurial dreams like Mackenzie once had. The initiative offers resources, mentorship, and opportunities to help young innovators thrive. Continuing the spirit of leadership and generosity Mackenzie embodied in her short but impactful life. As part of renewed efforts to solve her case, the Columbus Division of Police is preparing to release a new social media campaign centered on Mackenzie's unsolved murder. The upcoming video will recap the events of that night and feature a direct appeal to the public, encouraging anyone with information, no matter how small, to come forward. The department is making it easier than ever to submit tips anonymously, including a scannable QR code linked to a secure reporting system. Investigators believe some of the individuals involved in Mackenzie's death are already incarcerated for unrelated crimes and will never walk free again. Still, that final piece of evidence connecting them to her murder remains elusive. Authorities are hopeful that, now that time has passed and many of the original witnesses who were just children at the time are now adults, someone will find the courage to speak up. In a deeply emotional statement, Mackenzie's mother pleaded with the public, "It's time to just let it go and come forward. I don't want to go to my resting place and not see justice for my child." Her words reflect the pain of a mother who has lived every day since 2021 with an unhealed wound. Her hope is that anyone will help bring the truth to light, not only for Mackenzie, but for the countless other families affected by gun violence and silence.
Years later, Mackenzie making a difference in the community.
Out of this tragedy comes a triumph.
Right after Mackenzie's death, her family honoring the slain teen who had started her own clothing and beauty line, creating Orange Hearts for Mackenzie, an organization created to help young entrepreneurs of color, providing them services and resources.
She was such a phenomenal person, and she was definitely the definition of an entrepreneur.
Vilya Orr among 9 young business owners who received a $1,500 scholarship on Sunday.
She should be here giving out these awards.
Demaya Butler, who knew Mackenzie, honored for her hair business.
I feel like she needs to be here, but I'm also blessed to receive it because I feel like she's pushing me to go for something that I never wanted to go for before.
And while Mackenzie's family focuses on the future, they're not forgetting the past, waiting for a killer to be caught.
Did you imagine we'd be here 4 years and still nothing?
You know, I did not imagine that, especially early on when we had all that we had. I would have never imagined that 4 years later there was nothing.
And how are you now? Waiting.
It's like a knife that's just being turned continuously in my gut, and so I'm disappointed.
6 months after Mackenzie's death, Columbus police releasing security video of the gunfire chaos, including photos of 2 suspects. But since then, police tell us they still have not charged anyone. Mackenzie's mom disappointed. Police have not solved the case.
They have not made any arrests, and that's unfortunate because they could have. And so we are wanting and we're praying and hoping and having faith that one day soon the due diligence will be done and justice will be served for Mackenzie.
Mackenzie's mom hoping any witnesses who were kids then will speak up as adults now.
Be bold and brave and come forth and say something.
The story of 17-year-old Mackenzie Ridley is a reminder of how quickly a bright, promising life can be taken by senseless violence. Despite her young age, Mackenzie had already accomplished so much. This story teaches us about the fragility of life, the power of resilience, and the importance of speaking up for justice, for truth, and for those who can no longer speak for themselves. Rest in peace, Mackenzie Ridley.